we're sitting out here in front of your shop, your mom's shop.
Yep.
It's now, are you part owner now?
Well, so it was originally Darcy Creech Hats, and my mom sold her name. We moved to Nantucket, and she used my first and middle name, Peter Beaton, to open this location on Nantucket. And we've been here for 18 years.
Yep.
And now I'm taking over, I'm managing, and loving it.
So, how old are you?
26.
And you and I have something very much in common.
Yep,
we're both in the Coast Guard.
Both in the Coast Guard.
Both of us were cooks.
Both of us were cooks. Small world.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why I want to talk to you is about how you were able to do what you were able to do. Take us. I know a little bit about the background. Will you tell me what happened? You went to college.
So I went to boarding school. Left Nantucket to go to private school in Connecticut.
All right.
Loved that. Went to George Washington University. Was there for 1.5 semesters before getting expelled.
Now wait a minute. How old were you when you were there?
I was 19.
So right from high school.
First year, yeah.
First year.
Yep.
Got expelled.
Got expelled.
What can you say why?
My transcript says, it says drugs and weapons violation, but I had some drugs, and I actually got caught because I had some roommates who were smoking pot in my room while I was actually playing squash at Harvard in a championship, not my championship, but in a tournament. And they searched the room. They saw that I had a Swiss Army knife and some illegal substances, and I got the boot.
Okay. All right, so then what happened?
Ended up back in Nantucket in midwinter. Obviously, my family was less than pleased with me. And it was tough because, I had taken out student loans. My mom had co-signed with me, $50,000 down the drain at GW. No credits to show for it, nothing. And not a whole lot of options on the table, having just gotten expelled from school. So she said, we've got an appointment in Providence. We're going to meet the Coast Guard, Air Force, Army, Navy, Marines. We're going to go talk to the recruiters. And
what did you think of that?
It was interesting because I was a little upset. We were at war in Iraq and Afghanistan, and I thought that was a pretty drastic move to make.
What year was this?
This was 2008.
Yeah, wow.
And I was definitely upset. I was nervous. But at the same time, a little part of me, my grandfather was a pilot in World War II. I'd always thought it would be interesting to have military service, but I never thought I would get the opportunity because I was Nantucket prep school, good college. I never thought that military service was in the cards. It wasn't going to be a part of my life. My mom's a fashion designer, and it just didn't really seem like it was going to be something that my family would ever support me doing, and it just so happened that it came to the point where that was my only opportunity, kind of the only way to go. Thankfully, the Coast Guard recruiter was the first office that we went to, and left there, canceled all my other appointments with all the other recruiters, said I want to be in the Coast Guard, and came back a week later and signed the papers.
What did the Coast Guard offer you?
Well, that's another interesting question because I actually had considered wanting to go to culinary school after my mishap at George Washington. But when I was at the recruiter for the Coast Guard, he told me that he was a cook. And I said, you can be a cook in the Coast Guard? That had never crossed my mind. And he loved it. He thought it was great. He said, we send you to culinary school in California. You go there for 6 months. Then you'll go to your ship or your unit and you'll get to cook for the crew. And I thought that was just such an amazing opportunity because I've always loved to cook. My mom, my dad, my family, and I, Thanksgiving has always been my favorite holiday. I love being in the kitchen. I love sharing experiences over food.
Right.
So I thought, wow, I can be a cook and I can serve my country, at the same time. I thought it was just right up my alley.
But what about college? What were your thoughts about happening to you?
Right. The GI Bill has been fantastic for me.
No, okay, so did they offer you that? What did they say?
Well, they offer, you get the GI Bill pretty much no matter what.
All right, what is that? The parents out there that are thinking that, okay, I've got to come up with some serious bucks.
Right.
Your mother had the opportunity to what? To save some serious money?
Well, so anyone who joins the military gets the GI Bill, unless you opt out of it, which there's really no reason to do that.
Okay.
I think you have to pay $1 out of your first paycheck in order to secure the GI Bill, and that's it.
What did
$1 one
What did
time.
the GI Bill give you?
So right now, the post 9/11 GI Bill maxes out at $17,500 per year, but there are plenty of programs out there, and the Yellow Ribbon program is the one that I chose, and it's been fantastic for me. And what it does is it takes whatever portion of your tuition is not covered by that $17,500.
Yep.
The Yellow Ribbon program, the VA will match whatever the school will forgive out of that remaining portion.
Okay.
So I go to Pepperdine University. Tuition is over $50,000 a year. They get $17,500 from the GI Bill.
Yep.
Pepperdine forgives 50% of the rest of that balance, and the VA covers the rest of that. Plus, what the GI Bill does is they give you a housing allowance based on the zip code where your school is located. So schools in Boston and New York.
You can go to a list and see.
You can go to a list. It's on the, I believe it's va.gov, and you can search for Yellow Ribbon Program, and it'll give you a list of schools. Some schools will contribute less. There are some great schools that I was looking at in the Northeast.
Excuse me.
Babson is one of them.
Yeah.
I think they contribute $2,500, to the VA. So the VA will match the $2,500. So after the $17,500, you get an extra $5,000 total deducted, and then the rest of the balance is left up to you to cover. You'll still get the housing allowance based on the zip code.
Unreal.
But it's a fantastic
All right,
deal.
now here you are. Does it bother you that you didn't complete college and go right in like the rest of everybody else normally does?
Not at all. Absolutely not. I feel like the perspective that I gained through my experiences has been invaluable. When I go to school now, I have so much more of an appreciation for the actual education that I'm getting. I sit in a classroom and I think, wow, this person really actually has something to offer, rather than this is something I have to get through in order to get to the next phase of my life. Because I have a lot of friends who are really successful, and I have a lot of friends who have graduated from college and have had a hard time finding a job and aren't super excited about what they're doing, and I feel like they did miss an opportunity to, and I don't think that joining the Coast Guard is the only way to get this opportunity, but I don't feel at 26 years old that I'm behind the curve. I feel like I've got so much left to accomplish, and I feel like I've accomplished so much doing other things, so I'm extremely thankful with, I learned a lot from actually getting expelled from school. It's one of the best things that ever happened to me, because it brought me down this interesting path. I've learned so much from it.
And you've served your country?
I've gotten to serve my country.
Yeah.
I've gotten...
What about your friendships?
I've gotten $250,000 free education out of it.
And what about the friendships you made in the Coast
I've had
Guard?
some... I actually have two of my best friends.
Isn't it unbelievable?
They're coming down this weekend, staying with me. Haven't seen them in a couple of years. Really excited about that.
Well, listen, I want to thank you for your service, and I as an ex-Coastie, I'm proud of you, and I'm glad you did what you did.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I actually, if I want to offer one thing,
Yeah.
and I got expelled from school, and they're selective joining the Coast Guard, joining the military, getting into college. It was a tough process, and I felt like it was unique for me, having had a lot of these things in my past. And one of the things that helped me through it the most was being forthcoming about my mistakes and even the details of my mistakes. And I just felt like everyone makes mistakes, and when you're honest and you have integrity and you're forthcoming about it, people will sympathize with you and they'll understand. And I feel like we're so often told to deny, 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 and it's not always the best way to do it, because a lot of the opportunities I've been given have been given to me because people have seen that I've been honest with them, and I deserved a second chance, and it was worth something, and it's really worked out.